Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Caron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 7025 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
E-Class Consulting. It's owned and operated by Carice, providing tools, training, and resources that are sure to make you and your business even more successful. We are staffed with a marketing, credit, tax, and a real estate consultant. E-Class Consulting also provides a temporary admin service called E-Class Admins. Want to book an appointment with E-Class Consulting? Call 702-518-3002 or email book@eclassconsulting.com. E-Class Consulting, navigating you to greatness.
No. Let me see. Check it. We back. In this thing like a wedgie. I'm out here naked. I'm out here raw dogging. I ain't grabbed no foam cover. Y'all know what it is. It's raining out here in Viva Las Vegas, baby. So everybody's minds is all jacked up and out of whack. See how this magically happens? Boom, stuff flies in, and I'm able to see it. I can't hear nothing in my ear, nothing at all. But it's okay, y'all, 'cause we gon' get it going on. That's how we do it. Hope y'all feeling good on this Wednesday, wherever you at. What you doing, where you at, and what you doing. That's what we trying to figure out, because I need to know. Because out here in the desert, where it ain't supposed to rain, it's raining like a mofo. At one moment, I'm over there just chilling, shaving, getting my life together, trimming up my little mustache and beard. And then out of nowhere, I start hearing thundering and lightning and everything else that's involved in that. So if y'all ever just been surprised by that thunderstorm out of nowhere, go ahead and let somebody know about that, because that ain't even cool. That ain't cool at all to just be out of nowhere. It's dry outside. Actually, I cleaned my backyard earlier today, and then out of nowhere, I got a damn thunderstorm going on in the background. So there we go. We doing our thing right now. We just trying to make sure I got everybody tagged in what we got going on, and we're going to go from there. You know, it's the world of, what you call that, of social media and all that kind of good shit. So got to make sure all sponsorships are tagged and stuff like that. Speaking of sponsorships, you know, we're going to make sure I got them on there, shop blinged out right now. Yep, get them on there, tag them, and we done. Booyah. Share that. Get it going on. Turn that all the way down. That's boss. I just pulled up on Instagram, and then my homeboy Cortland Wiggins was live and direct. He was live. Let me see. Cortland Wiggins was live and direct on my shit, you know? So there it is. So we going live in 3, 2, 1, and action, baby. We here. There we go. There we go. Here we go. Let me grab me a little bit of water, because that was taxing. I felt like I was having, there it is. Now I can talk. I can hear me now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Holla if you hear me. Holla if you hear me. There we go. Now I can hear myself in my ear. Everything. Let me see what she talking about. I'm here, babe. I'm here. I'm live on Insta. There you go. I just saw your message. Yeah, you didn't see me live because it was something else going on. Some stuff in the atmosphere. Like I say, when it get to raining, stuff get to acting weird out here. So, especially driving, I never knew the people out here was going to drive that bad in the rain, you know? I thought there was only Nashville people that drove like that in the rain, but now I come to find out that it's these folks out here in the desert too. Can't drive in the rain. I want to go outside in the rain, but not with all y'all people driving like that, because y'all niggas can't drive at all. So let me make sure I'm hitting record where we need to record, and there we go. We in this thing like a wedgie, baby. We back. You right here on hot7025fm.com with your main man, 360 the Poet. That's THAPOET. Make sure you spell my name right, because it means something. That's tenacity, heart, and attitude. Present opportunities every time. For those that don't know, then now you do. We here. We talking about a good topic today. But before we do that, let's talk about our sponsors of the day. So the shirt of the day, sponsored by Shop Blinged Out. That's Shop Blinged Out on Instagram, Facebook, and shopblingedout.com. Make sure you call them up for all your apparel and or your shoe fantasy needs. If you want some fire ass shoes, like check out their website. Check out the website on Shop Blinged Out, and you'll really find out what I'm talking about when it comes down to them kicks. They got apparel and kicks, but kicks is really, really, really kicking. She killing. I don't care what you got. She can bling out all your shit. Anything you got, just give me all your stuff. Stop cussing. I'm trying to stop cussing for 2023. I know we're 9 months in, but I'm trying to stop. I'm lying. I just be trying to monitor it sometimes. But yeah, so hit up Shop Blinged Out if you need anything, especially if you got like a sneaker ball coming up, something like that. Then she'll be able to get you, they. I can't just say she, because she got a whole team around these parts now. That's how you do what we call growth. Growth! And if I'm not mistaken, it's a storefront coming soon, too, down there in the Murfreesboro, Tennessee area. So, you ain't hear that from me. I ain't the one to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me. But yeah, make sure you tune in and tap in with old Shop Blinged Out. But with that being said, I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of Holla at the Homie. And I'm the homie, 360 the Poet. And we here each and every Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. my time. That's out here on the West Coast. And we got 5 to 6 in the center of the country, and we got 6 to 7 out there on the East Coast. So it's probably almost dark out there to my folks out there, and my New Yorkers, my Floridians, my Georgia folks, even some of my Indiana people. You know, depending on what side of the state you on, you probably 3 hours ahead of me too right now. So big up to all that tune in and tap in with us. Anybody that's out here and saying what's up to us on Hot 7025 FM. If you didn't know, you can download the app inside your Google Play Store or your Apple app store. You can get the app. It's Hot 7025. You see it behind me. It'll pull up just like that. You see it up above my head. It's over, where is it? Over there. Booyah. Just know you can call in anytime if you're thinking about it. The number 702-551-5261 is right there above me on on my Facebook. But over here, for my people that don't know, it's 702-551-5261. So we had a few callers last week, so that kind of threw a curve, and a good curve into the game. What's up, Candy Williams? Excuse me. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, so what are we talking about today? We got a good topic to discuss. We received a heartfelt question. I'm going to say heartfelt because it's from a mom. She's navigating different ways to kind of go through the ups and downs of co-parenting, right? And it's not just co-parenting in the sense of, she's dealing with parenting with her, and they're not together anymore. She's co-parenting in a blended family. So anybody who's been a part of a blended family or who's vicariously lives through a blended family of a close friend of theirs, you kind of get an understanding of what that whole dynamic is in a way. So we just here to provide some guidance, and some support. Like I always say, I always like to tell everybody before I get started, I give my disclaimer. I am not a clinical. I have not paid tuition. I have not studied psychology, psychiatry, and or clinical counseling. I'm not a counselor. I'm more of like a life coach, if anything, right? Helping you coach you through your life. I've experienced a lot of things. And if I haven't experienced them myself, I've been close enough to breathe upon those who have. And they allow me to sponge up some of that. And I can squeeze it out to you. What's going on? DLC, Danica? We're going to recap for a little bit. We're talking about how to balance the ups and downs of co-parenting in a blended family. That means now you got, a husband and a wife, and they bring kids of their own, now your family it's like the Brady Bunch. If you think about it, the first initial blended family that everybody relates people to is the Brady Bunch, right? So we always saying like, oh, y'all a whole Brady Bunch over there. Here's a story of a lovely family, Let me get some of this. Too much. There we go. All right. So the Brady Bunch is what the prototypical blended. This the letter that was written in today from a mom, and she really wants a little bit better understanding of how to navigate through co-parenting in a blended family. So now that I got my life together over here, my lips no longer dry, my hands okay. So like I say, man, the rain be bringing out. My foot hurting over here, man. This is the first time it's rained post-surgery for me. In the barometric pressure. Oh, man, I'm finna sound like one of them old dudes. Oh, man, it's about to rain. I feel it in my knees. I really do. I should have felt it in my foot. Damn, I should have been surprised by that thunderstorm. Now I got to pay more attention to my body. Now I know what it feel like. But anyway, right. Right, Ikari, get them lips right. Right. Yeah. Yes. You right, Danica. If the baby mama is bitter and the child is disrespectful, that's a hard thing to do. So let's dive into the letter. Okay. It says, "What's up, homie? I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing to seek your advice and guidance on a topic that has been causing some turmoil in my life lately. I am a mother in a blended family, and while I try my best to make things work, the ups and downs of co-parenting can be incredibly challenging. My situation is quite complex. I have 2 children from my previous marriage, and my current husband has 1 child from his previous marriage. We also have a child together." Well, that's a lot of moving parts. "We both enter this marriage with the best of intentions, hoping to create a loving and harmonious environment for all of our children. However, the reality of co-parenting in a blended family has proven to be more difficult than we anticipated. One of the most major issues we face is differing in parenting styles and discipline approaches. My husband and I often find ourselves at odds when it comes to how we should handle situations involving the kids. This leads to arguments and tension in our household, which I worry is affecting all of the children. Additionally, there are challenges with scheduling and coordinating visitation with our ex-spouses. It can be a logistical nightmare at times, and it feels like we're constantly juggling the needs and desires of multiple families. So, homie, I'm writing to you today because I am in need of some guidance on how to handle these ups and downs of co-parenting in a blended family. I want to create a stable and loving environment for our children, but it often feels like we are failing in that regard. So let me reread that. I want to create a stable and loving environment for our children, but it often feels like we are failing in that regard. How can we navigate these challenges and ensure that our children have the best possible upbringing in our blended family? Any advice you can provide would be greatly appreciated. We are open to suggestions and are willing to put forth the effort to make this work. Thank you in advance. Sincerely, Co-Parenting Nightmare Mom. All right. Dang, nightmare. Co-parenting nightmare, man. That's rough. So, first and foremost, I always like to say thank you to anybody who's taken out the time to send in a letter, anybody who taps in and tunes in on whether it's online, whether it's somebody on Facebook, Instagram, whether you email me, whether you text me. I appreciate you because, you could be anywhere else in the world, but you're right here with me, right? So I thank you for that, Co-Parenting Nightmare Mom. So, today, what I want to say is we're going to explore the challenges of challenges and the joys. We'll say the challenges and the joys of, parenting from various angles. Okay, so, so I want to thank you for your question. And, co-parenting in a blended family can be hard. It can be hard as hell. I'm not going to lie. I'm well aware. What's up, Georgiana? I'm well aware of how I'm part of a blended family, right? So co-parenting in that regard, like you said, in your letter, you say you have issues when it comes down to your discipline of the children, and what else did you say? How to handle the situations involving the kids, your parenting styles differ, and that's completely understandable. What up, Al Rich? You know what I mean? It's completely understandable that you're going to meet these challenges because, again, even parents who are both biological parents of a child often have issues when it comes down to their style of parenting that child because they themselves were brought up in a different upbringing, unless they were next door neighbors and their parents went to church together or something like that, I wish she told the ages of the kids too. But we just gonna imagine. Let's see if she got 2 and he got 1, and then they got 1 together. So the 1 together probably a little bit younger, depending on how long they've been. Well, of course they're younger because it's younger than the previous marriages. But how much younger? I would like to know that too, because that's right there in itself is a different dynamic. When you have kids of your own, they got kids of their own, but then y'all have 1 together. So now it's that 1 child that y'all share together is gonna be like the tiebreaker. As far as when it comes down to what style you gonna use in parenting, right? That child that's the one that y'all share, that's his jizz and your eggs, that's his semen and your eggs. They're gonna make a difference on how y'all parent the other kids too. But be aware, those other kids gonna use that one to manipulate the hell out of y'all. So be ready for that. Be ready for that. I just want to let you know that co-parenting nightmare mom. Your other kids, if they smart, they gonna use that kid that y'all share together as their tool. Go tell mom, go tell your dad, go tell your mom. They gonna, the ones that ain't the parent, they gonna say, go tell that kid, go tell your mom and our dad. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. Or maybe everybody call each other mom and dad, which is perfect. My bonus daughter called me Pa. So that's a plus. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. So there's a connection of parental guidance there. So that's one thing. So you're not alone in facing these issues. Let's start there. Many families have successfully navigated through this from time to time. Others have done it before. People are doing it now currently, like I said about myself and other families who I see that are blended, because blended families do bring about different dynamics, because you're not only bringing in the ex-spouses, now you're also including their family, especially if the families are involved in any way, shape, form, or fashion, right? If the grandma on the other side of the family has anything to say about that kid, that means all the aunties, because everybody listen to what grandma Madia say. So if grandma don't like the new blended side, then everybody else gonna have an issue. and what's that? Danica said, I wonder, do the other parents influence decision when it comes to their separate kids? And I'm pretty sure they've had that conversation, because it doesn't give, and I think people try to keep the letters short as possible, not short, but keep it from dragging on. So it's a one pager. It's a one pager. It's double spaced. So I guess they didn't want to, take me too long. But it's okay for anybody who's writing in later on. Add a little more meat in the fire. Add a little meat if you want to. If you want to add the age of the kids, because that kind of helps with navigate through the dynamic as well. But all it says is the fact that they share these kids, that, she's got 2, he's got 1, and now together they got, what's that, 4? Yeah, okay, so 4 kids in the house, so there it is. I wish it would have let it know to be like boy, girl, too, because that makes a difference as well. But back to the lecture at hand. One of the first things to remember is that, consistency. If you focus on consistency, meaning you got to establish and maintain. You got not just to establish some sort of pattern or some sort of schedule that works for everybody involved, though. It can't just be, you can't be consistent when it's just, okay, I can be here when it works for me, or I can pitch in and give my part when it works for me, But what you can do is okay, this works for me. Does it work for y'all? What up, Ro? This works for me. Does it work for y'all? So compromise. And again, I'm always big on communication. And again, I always tell people, when I say this every episode, you have to listen to absorb. So be able to take in what the other person is dropping off to you. You can't just come in and be like, okay, I'm going to say what I got to say, and then I'm going to listen to what they say, but I'm really not hearing them. My brother-in-law gave it to me, a real good analogy on listening versus hearing, right? He said, a car driving down the street, you can hear the music. You can hear it bumping. Boom, 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 boom. You can hear it. But unless you in the car, unless you tuned in to that conversation, unless you in there to listen, you don't know what the lyrics are saying. You can't really say the lyrics if it's something you've never heard before. You may just hear a bumping beat. Be like, ooh, what's that? You can't even tell who it is, because you hear it, but you're not listening. So that's the difference. Being able to hear a sound and listen to the sound is one thing. So that communication has to be taken care of all across the board. You can't just come in like, okay, this is what I got to do. This works for me. F what y'all talking about. What's up, Pammy? You can't just come in doing all that. She said maybe he's more relaxed because he only had 1 prior to her 2 kids, and she's more strict. This is a hard letter to give help on. No, we're going to help him out, though. We're going to help him out. But because the thing about it is sometimes people do got more kids. I brought more kids into the relationship. I got 2 grown ones, and she got 1 grown one. It helped that the fact that they were grown when we got together. But, it still don't negate the fact that we've grown with these babies because we had them as youngsters, So, so we grew with them. So they're a part of us, regardless of how we move and what we say. Some of it had to be this, filtered a little bit to kind of make sure that the kids that we grew up, that we raised as we were raising ourselves and being still raised by our parents, they grew a part of us. So even though they were grown, we came into the situation, they grew a part of us, right? So now being a part of a blended family, you have to be able to go in with an open mind. Because you can't just say, well, okay, this is how I parent, this is my way or the highway, because that ain't how they may have moved before you got there. So when, especially in a lot of people, it usually comes down to discipline. Like, are you a punishment person? Are you a timeout person? Or are you a whoop that asser? Because if I think about it, I grew up as a whoop that asser because I grew up getting my ass whooped. But in hindsight, hindsight's 20/20. If I could go back and rewind how I disciplined, if nothing else, everything else I'm cool on how I, raised with my kids and stuff like that, But as far as how I discipline, that was one thing I wish I could change if I went back and did. So your question is, but were you willing to change your parenting style? No, it's not about changing my parenting style. It's more adapting my parenting style to the entire totality of the family now. Because, as a father or a husband, your definition, by, past experiences to be a protector and a provider, right? So now you have to protect all that are involved from any wrongdoing from anybody, including yourself. So I didn't change my parenting style. I checked my parenting style. And what I mean by that is, what up, Young Stitch? Uh-oh. I'm getting feedback. There we go. What I mean by is me checking my parenting style is that I saw what worked in the way that I was parenting before and what didn't work, what wouldn't work in the way the dynamic was at that point. You know, because again, you got to look at you got to think about who's in the house. You know, the people that are in the house with you more are the ones that are going to fall underneath the umbrella of each other's parenting style more often than anything, right? Again, with ours being grown, none of them were in the house. Now, they've all been around us and, for extended periods of time, but, none really ever lived with us, to be honest. We've had, a couple months here, a couple months there, just while they were visiting on some sabbatical type stuff, but never really lived with us, right? Because they're grown. But we do have to deal with each other's children because they're still in our lives. And, now a couple of the children have children of their own. So now it's a whole nother dynamic. How is our parenting style going to translate into a grandparenting style? So again, I wasn't changing my parenting style, but I did check my parenting style based off the audience. You got to read the room. You really have to read the room, but again, if you start off with consistency on how you doing things and the communication is there, these are things that are crucial to co-parenting. It's first of all, you had to establish what your clear boundaries, what you're going to allow, what is allowed amongst, how you going to let them talk to you. Let's establish these boundaries off top. I may not give you 5 across the face, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna check you on what you say. You're not about to be disrespectful, but you got to set those clear boundaries in the beginning, especially if you coming into a relationship. Grandparents way softer. Grandparents give the kids the world. That's why it's called grand, because we gonna run it up on you and just give it back to you, spoiled rotten. But you know what I mean? So if you set the boundaries on what is allowed in the beginning, because if you know that you got kids and they got kids and y'all getting serious, these are discussions and communication that needs to happen in the beginning before y'all blend this family together, because, go together really ain't a blended family to me. I mean, you may be going together for a long time. I mean, unless you living together and y'all cohabitating, if y'all going together living in 2 separate households, that's really not a blended family. That's just 2 families that come together and kick it sometime, but somebody is, people living in the house together or the kids is living in the house together, you can't be living separate talking about blended family. Let's get that established, because it ain't really blended. It's just 2 families. So you have to have, because consistency, what I think about consistency is it provides a sense of stability. You know what I mean? For the children, most of all, because one thing I've learned over the years as a parent, you can spend every dollar in your pocket, every dime in your account. And that does matter to the kids, but it really doesn't matter. The thing that matters the most is your time and consistency. When you consistent with your kids, whether it's you strict on them all the time, or whether it's, you lenient on them all the time, or whether y'all, chop it up from time to time, if you're consistent with those things, then that's one of the most important things to parenting, because it is going to reduce, what it does is it reduces the emotional roller coasters, right? Because when you constantly going up and down, what is happening here, yo? When you constantly going up and down on a roller coaster of emotions with your kids, then that confuses them. Because they're looking to you for the guidance on what to become and what to be and what to grow into, so they can't be just looking at you go from up to down, up to down, up to down, and be inconsistent as far as when it comes to what you're being as a parent. You have to have some empathy. You have to have some patience. Blended families, they come with complex dynamics. Like I said before, What's up, Tori? How you doing, Niecy? Blended families come with complex dynamics, right? So what I mean by that is it's essential to remember that everybody involved is also, like the children, the co-parents, the co-grandparents, everybody's experiencing their own set of challenges. You know? So that's an important thing to remember when dealing with when dealing with co-parenting. Everybody has their own set of emotions that come along with it. And if you're invested into their emotions, and if you're invested into understanding, if nothing else, there's nothing better than no better understanding than getting understanding. You know, if you're invested in understanding what they may be going through, that goes a long way in the growth of y'all together. You know? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, to put yourself in their shoes. To put yourself in their shoes, right? That gives that sense of understanding. Like, so if you talk to them, when you're talking to them, and you be like, okay, let me understand how you feel, and then that way I can possibly be empathetic and put myself into your shoes. Then maybe our communication will come across clearer. We're speaking the same language at that point because I'm talking to you and you. You know what they say when people say, man, you gonna mess around and I'm gonna pull a you on you and then you're gonna understand? That's it. So if I'm able to, only way I can pull a you on you or to talk to you like you is to understand you. So invest some of that into them, into the kids especially. And if it's clear enough or open enough and the other side of the co-parenting triangle is open to be invested in seeing how each other feels about it, then that goes a long way. You know, understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, my wife's daughter's dad, like, he can call me if he wants to. You know, that's a great thing to have, to be able to have that understanding to where we chop it up from time to time on our own. You know, I may be a little different. I may be different, or we may be different, or, you know, but this lets you understand that it can happen, right? It's possible. You know, it's possible. If I wanted to hit Faquan up right now, I can hit him up right now. And he'd be like, man, you silly, because he's silly, you know. But if you have that open mind and that willingness to invest that amount of understanding into the other side of the co-parenting dynamic, it eliminates a lot of the questions that they may have, or it eliminates a lot of the unwanted or unneeded or unnecessary stresses that may be occurring. You dig? So, like, if you're able to have that much heart, I say it's heart because that's where you got to come from in order to feel like you can open up to somebody else in that way. You know, that way you let them know that their thoughts and emotions are valid and that you support them. So it's good to involve your kids in the conversation. It's good to involve the other parties involved in this whole co-parenting blended family dynamic into the conversation because it lets them know that their thoughts and emotions are valid and that you support what they feel like. Because that's the biggest thing. A lot of times people be like, well, I don't want to tell anybody how I feel because who's going to give a shit? You know, for lack of a better word, who's going to care? You know? So if you can tap into that and open up yourself enough to where you're willing to talk to the other side, then that's going to go a long way. Right? But another thing, please don't forget about yourself. You got to think about you in this whole dynamic, right? What type of self-care, what type of self-care can you implement to make sure that you good? Because a lot of people always extend themselves so far. And I say this quite often. you need people to fill up your tank too, right? But in the times you don't have anybody to fill up that particular tank, how are you going to fill it up? That's why we got self-serve gas stations, right? How are you going to fill up your tank? What type of self-care are you going to give to you? Because co-parenting can be emotionally draining. Emotionally draining co-parenting can be, So make sure you're taking care of yourself both mentally and physically. Why wouldn't you? What's up, twin? Why would you not take care of yourself mentally and physically? Because if not, you beating you up. You are beating you up because you're not patching up the parts of you. Like, in other words, you putting salt in your own wounds if you're not taking care of yourself. If this co-parenting blended family thing is, taking its toll on you and is whipping your tail, if you're not taking care of you, then you're doing nothing but exacerbating the issue, making it way worse than what it has to be, adding salt into your wounds, right? And I invite anybody who's got something to ask about that or it got their 2 cents to put in about it. 702-551-5261. Call. We'll put you right on the air, It's no biggie. This is how we do. Because co-parenting is something that's not going to go away. As long as, because the whole, what they call the nuclear family from back in the day it doesn't exist as much anymore. Don't get me wrong. I love to see, 2 parents in a home. And for those that have them, hold on to them, embrace it, cherish it, but even if it's a blended 2-parent home, embrace the fact that you've got love coming from both sides of the spectrum, because again, this can be physically and mentally draining in the event that you don't give yourself the support and you don't have the support from other people. Speaking of support, sometimes you got to seek support from a therapist or a counselor if needed. How, everybody's, big on mental health, right? And I'm one too. I'm on board with that one. I'm a campaigner for mental health, meaning take care of your mental health. Whatever that means. If that means you tuning in every Wednesday hollering at the homie, then so be it. But what's up, Double? You know what I mean? If so be it. If that means that you are, if basically if this is your mental health for the week, then that's cool. But you also need some other type of mental health to be able to support what you don't get from me on a Wednesday. Therapy can be an invaluable resource, especially like for individuals and families that are going through challenges like this. It's okay to bring in, people like, well, I don't want people on the outside knowing my business, but your business is about to be in the streets if you don't handle it internally. So, if you're going through co-parenting in a blended family, a professional can provide you with different strategies and different approaches to navigate through the situations, if nothing else, more effectively. You know what I mean? So that's the best time to bring. A lot of people are scared to bring in a mental health expert when it comes to the one-on-ones because they don't want to get inside themselves and they're afraid of what's going to be in the mirror. But to bring it into a situation like this, I think it might be an easier pill to swallow. No pun intended, because I hope they're not giving y'all no pills to kind of chill your family out. There's no such thing as a chill pill. It's a zombie pill. I'm sorry. Don't get me on my health care tangent. But and the reason I say that talking to a professional will go a long way is because you got to remember, co-parenting doesn't come in like a one size fits all. So you can't just go talk to somebody that's been in the same situation, a blended family situation, and think that they may have all the answers for you. There is no one size fits all solution to co-parenting. And again, it's based off the fact that, there are no quick fixes. It's based off the fact that there are so many pieces involved in a co-parenting blended family situation. Because first and foremost, you've got the first word that we talked about, co-parenting. That means it's somebody else that wants to be a parent. So they're going to want their input to be heard at all times. Anybody that's got kids, can't nobody tell you what to do with your kids or how to raise your kids. Everybody can tell you, you can't tell me how to raise my child. This is my child. But then that's also the other person's child too. And then now, if we going to be together, now this is our child as well as that other person's child. So there we create that triangle. But at what angle is that triangle? Is it acute? Is it obtuse? Is it isosceles? Like, is it more influence coming from one way or another? We don't know, because again, this is not a one-size-fits-all solution type situation. It's an ongoing process. A process of what? Growth, a process of adaptation. If you continue to grow, then you'll start to adapt. Again, like I said before, I checked my parenting style. I didn't change it. I just checked it. So that means I adapted, as it grew, as my family grew. So as I'm growing, my family's growing, my mind is growing. So now I have to adapt to all this new growth, all this extra space that's been created in my heart, in my mind. But how much of that is determined, based off our dynamic. What's this, Mika? What's up, Mika Brumfield? Mika said, that's why I always made a general consensus not to date men with children, because my patience is too short for blended families. Disrespectful kids, bitter, problematic baby mama. Get somebody else to do it. Hush. Hush. But I hear you, though. I hear you. But again, that's a choice that you can make in the beginning, to not blend the family. But if you come into the situation with kids, then the family in itself is blended also. It's not all, like I say, the so quote unquote old school nuclear family doesn't really exist in its totality anymore as a whole general. I'm not saying it doesn't exist at all. Don't nobody be like, yes, it does, our family. No, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. But as an overall big picture, it doesn't exist as often. The weather messed with my connection over there. But it doesn't occur as often. But one thing you got to understand about it is, like, nowadays people are stepping up to the plate. Nowadays people are, manning up, womaning up, or othering up. Like I say, I don't get into all that they and that stuff like that. Talk to my publicist. But it's just like people man up and woman up now, and they do accept these kids. And these kids are, remember the movie Problem Child? Kids can be a problem. Children can be a problem. And Mika said, yes, I have my nerves being a single parent for 11 years. I know I'm a huge contradiction. Do as I say, not as I do. I wouldn't go call you out like that. I was not. I just threw that dynamic out there for you, sister. But kids can be an issue, especially if like, you ain't my mommy, you ain't my daddy. That one hurts. When you get hit with that one hurts. But you got to make a choice. If you do get hit with it, are you going to move beyond it? Because, again, as a couple, y'all not going anywhere. You can't let the kids dictate whether y'all go anywhere, but y'all also have to work together with the kids. Y'all also need to work together with the other parents, if they're open-minded enough and willing to work. I'm not saying, don't go back saying, 360 said we need to work it out with y'all, even though y'all acting ignorant. Nah, if y'all acting ignorant, I'm going to keep the ignorance over there with the ignorance. Keep your ignorant ass over there with your ignorance. I don't deal with it. I don't deal with no foolishness. I'm too old to be fighting, Exercise one finger, and that's it. I don't do no ignorance. So I'm glad I'm not involved in any dynamic where it would involve me in being caught up in anything like that. So, but those that may be, you let people be who they are, and you continue to grow in your relationship, in your part of the blended family, You know what I mean? So like, you know what I forgot to say? One thing I forgot to talk about is like, during all this, one thing that I've learned that's worked for us, right, is being able to celebrate all the victories, including the smallest of victories. You know, celebrate anything that goes well with that blending of the family. Celebrate it all. You know, if somebody got a promotion, if somebody made the honor roll as part of the blend, celebrate them all. You know what I mean? That way you'll celebrate the small victories. You'll be able to learn from any setback, because that means you're tuned in and paying attention to it all. Not just the good stuff, but learn from the stuff that may have set y'all back a little bit. Like, damn, because like one thing, my kids used to get away with murder when they were little, because I made a vow to never discipline them, you know, any type of way if I was under the influence, right? You know, everybody know me, I don't really drink like that, but I do drink sometimes. But even bud, if I was blowed, if I'm smoking some herb, they know Daddy high. He in there. I smell the room. I smell it. So I know he in there. So I can get away with murder right now, right? So what I mean by what I threw that in there for is like you learn from the setbacks, right? Because if you do something that's out of character, then it's gonna set you back some. Like, you know, you yelled, maybe I shouldn't have yelled after I was drinking, or maybe I shouldn't have yelled at all. Learn from these setbacks. Learn that what works with this family's dynamic, because again, it's blended. You chose to blend it. You chose to make the Kool-Aid. Were you the Kool-Aid packet, or was your family the sugar? Or was your family the water? Somebody in there is blended. Y'all blended each other together all the way around. Exactly. Yeah, they do that. Yeah, they do that on purpose, Roy. Yeah, they did it on purpose. They knew they wouldn't get in trouble. If they smell the wacky tobacco, they wasn't getting in trouble. But you learn from the setbacks. Anything that may have set you back, you know, but that allows you, by both learning from the setbacks and celebrating the small victories, that way you can continue to work towards creating like a positive and stable environment for the children, right? Because again, if they see you consistently working, you know, consistency. Remember, we talked about that at the beginning. Consistently working and being invested in what they are and how they feel, then you'll continue to grow, and it'll build the stability that you're looking for in the environment between you and the children. Because you know the children, the other parents they're gonna ask them, how's such and such treating you at home? Or how's that work when you were with your daddy or with your mama? You know, and children are the most honest creatures on the planet. You want to know the truth? Ask a kid. Ask a child. If you want to know if your breath stink, go talk to a child. You want to know if you got a booger in your nose? Go stand in front of a child and talk to a child. You know, if you want to know if you stink, go talk to a child. Any truth, the hurtfuls or the good ones, a child will let you know. So if you show them that you invested in them and you care enough about how they feel, then through telephone, you know, the old game of telephone, it's going to get back to the other parent that, all right, they rocking with my kid, so I'm not as worried about my kid. You know, my child is in good hands, or at least concerned enough hands. So again, that opens up those lines of communications to the entire triangle of that blended family. Exactly. We are nosy as a people, Roy. Men and women will question the kids just to get answers. We've all done it. Because the kids, what's going on, Keish? The kids will tell you the truth. They gonna tell you. They be like, I don't like her, daddy. I don't like her, mom. I don't really like how she be acting. She yell at my daddy too much. You know what I mean? Or, I don't really like him. You know, they go tell their daddy, I don't like him, open the door for my mom or nothing. You know, like they gonna tell the truth about what's missing and the visuals that they used to seeing in they part of the blended family. So if you got those lines of communication open, you celebrate the small victories. If you learning from the setbacks, you continuously working on a positive environment for the blended family, then the blended family gonna work. It's gonna work. Exactly. Even if they're not your kids. You're going to question any of the kids. You know, as a coach, I'm a coach. Besides being a life coach, I've coached sports before, right? So the parents going to ask what their coach like. Is he mean? They're going to ask all these things. You know what I mean? Exactly. Because kids going to know. Kids going to tell you the truth. You're right, Keith. He loves Amaya too. You know, so to anybody that's out there listening or facing similar challenges, right? You know, I hope any of these insights that we talked about have been helpful. You know what I mean? Like, because, like, again, co-parenting in a blended family is undoubtedly challenging. It's, it's a motherfucker, for lack of a better words. You know what I mean? But with patience and empathy and commitment and communication and consistency, I mean, you can create that loving and stable environment for the children. You know? Oh yeah, they're gonna tell the truth about us and lie about what they do. You're right. That's what kids do. We did it. We'll tell everything that mom and daddy doing, but they ask us, "Did you break that glass?" No. Nope, I ain't do that. Nope. Sure did. But that's the thing. So, like, if you're doing these things, like, again, you gotta have empathy. You gotta have commitment. You gotta be 10 toes down. You can't be, halfway in, halfway out. Lukewarm is what we call it. Lukewarm. Nobody like no lukewarm person. Either you all the way hot for me or you all the way cold for me. Don't be in the middle. Who takes a lukewarm bath? Nah, you're going to take a hot bath or you're going to take an ice bath. Either way it go. You either cleaning or you rejuvenating. But who wants a lukewarm bath? Who wants lukewarm tea? You want iced tea or you want some hot tea? You want iced coffee or you want hot coffee? No lukewarmness around me. And that's one thing you got to be, the commitment, real commitment, open communication, empathy. You got to try to see where they coming from to put yourself in their shoes if you can, or get as close to it as possible, So, as always, I want to thank anybody who's tuned in and tapped in and chimed in with me over here at Holla at the Homie at Hot 7025. Big ups to Mika, big ups to Keisha, big ups to Roy the Handyman. As always, who else popped on here? Danica Carpenter. Appreciate all y'all. Twin J, all y'all came in. Story of Rory. Appreciate everybody who tunes in and taps in with me on a weekly basis. Again, tell a friend that we here every Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on hot7025fm.com, either on my live or on my Instagram or Facebook live or on Hot 7025FM's live. So anyway you want to get it, or get the app. That way you can listen to it while you're riding in the car. You know what I'm saying? You may not be able to call, but you can listen to it. And then again, you may have the number programmed to your peoples and say, call hot7025fm.com at 702-551-5261. But until next time, as always, I've been the homie, and I'm going to holler at y'all in a minute.